If you have an older home, there could be a ticking time bomb hiding under your sink right now, and most people have no idea it is there. Today, I am going to walk you through 5 deadly S-trap mistakes that could be filling your home with dangerous sewer gas as we speak. After 3 decades of fixing these exact problems, I have seen every one of these mistakes cause real damage to real families. We are covering all 5 today, and number 5 might be the most important one on the list. Plus, stick around for a bonus tip at the end that could save you from a costly surprise. The first mistake, and honestly the most common one I see, is not knowing you have an S-trap in the first place. Now, if you're wondering what an S-trap even looks like, you are not alone. Millions of homeowners walk past one every single day without realizing it. An S-trap is a drain pipe shaped like the letter S laying on its side. You will find it under sinks, usually in older homes built before the 1980s. But I have also seen them show up in homes that were remodeled by someone who did not pull a permit. The way to spot one is simple. Get down under your sink with a flashlight and look at the pipe coming down from the drain. If it curves down into a U shape, then curves back up, and then drops straight down through the floor, that is an S-trap. A P-trap, on the other hand, curves down into that same U shape but then exits horizontally, usually going into the wall. That is the key difference. The S goes down through the floor. The P goes out through the wall. Now, here is why this matters. Every major plumbing code in the United States has banned S-traps. The International Plumbing Code and the Uniform Plumbing Code both prohibit them because of one critical flaw. They are prone to losing their water seal. That water sitting in the bottom of the curve is the only thing standing between your living space and the sewer gas lurking in your drain pipes. When an S-trap loses that seal, and it will, gases like hydrogen sulfide and methane have a clear path right into your kitchen or bathroom. So step 1 is simply getting under every sink in your home and checking. If you see that S shape dropping through the floor, you have got an S-trap, and you need to keep watching. The second mistake that puts families at risk is ignoring the gurgling and sewer smell warning signs. I cannot tell you how many service calls I have been on where the homeowner says something like, "Oh, that smell has been there for months. We just got used to it." And that breaks my heart, because what they have been breathing in is actual sewer gas. Here is what happens inside an S-trap. Every time you run a full sink of water and release the drain, all that water rushing down creates a siphon effect. Think of it like siphoning gas out of a tank. The water flowing through the S-trap pulls the protective water seal right out of the bottom of the curve and sends it down the drain. Once that seal is gone, there's nothing blocking sewer gas from rising straight up through the pipe and into your home. The warning signs are very specific. First, listen for a gurgling sound after the water drains. That gurgling is the sound of air being sucked through the trap as the water seal gets pulled away. Second, pay attention to any faint rotten egg smell near your sinks or drains. That smell is hydrogen sulfide, and it is not just unpleasant, it can be genuinely harmful, especially if you are sleeping in a closed-up house overnight. Third, if the smell seems to come and go, that is actually a textbook sign of an S-trap losing and partially regaining its seal. Some water trickles back in after use, temporarily restoring a weak seal. but it never holds for long. The danger is real. Sewer gas can contain methane, hydrogen sulfide, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen. Prolonged exposure can cause headaches, nausea, dizziness, and in extreme cases, much worse. If you are noticing any of these signs, do not brush them off. Your nose is trying to tell you something important. The third mistake, and this one drives me absolutely crazy, is converting to a P-trap without adding a vent. This is the number one blunder I see from well-meaning do-it-yourselfers, and I understand why it happens. You do your research, you learn that S-traps are against code, and you decide to fix it yourself. So you go to the hardware store, buy a nice new P-trap, come home, remove the old S-trap, glue on a 90-degree elbow, attach the new P-trap, and feel great about yourself. The problem is, without a proper vent, you have not actually fixed anything. You have just created what plumbers call an accidental S-trap using P-trap parts. Let me explain why. A plumbing vent is a pipe that connects your drain line to open air, usually running up through your roof. Its job is to introduce air into the drain system so that water flowing through your pipes does not create a vacuum. Without that air supply, the water rushing through your new P-trap will still create a siphon effect, pulling the water seal right out of the trap, exactly like the old S-trap did. According to the International Plumbing Code, the trap weir, which is the highest point of water in the trap, must never rise above the vent opening. Anytime that rule gets violated, you have functionally created an S-trap, even if the physical parts look like a P-trap. So, what is the right way to do this? You have a few options. The best option is to install a proper vent pipe that ties into your home's existing vent system or runs independently up through the roof. If that is not practical because you do not want to open up walls, you may be able to use an air admittance valve, sometimes called an AAV. This is a one-way valve that lets air in but does not let sewer gas out. But here's the catch. Not every jurisdiction allows air admittance valves. Some states and local codes restrict or prohibit them entirely. So before you buy, 1. Call your local plumbing inspector and ask. A 2-minute phone call could save you from a failed inspection and a complete rework. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it's just a small sample of what I've put into my new guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It's packed with step-by-step instructions for hundreds of repairs that can save you thousands. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let's continue. The fourth mistake on our list is using the wrong fittings or pipe sizes during replacement. Now, this one might sound like a small detail, but in plumbing, small details are everything. I have pulled up under sinks and found 1 1/4 inch pipes jammed into 1 1/2 inch fittings with nothing but silicone caulk holding the whole thing together. That is not a repair. That is a ticking leak waiting to happen. Here is what you need to know. Residential drain pipes under sinks typically come in 2 sizes, 1 1/4 inch and 1 1/2 inch. Bathroom sinks usually use 1 1/4 inch, while kitchen sinks use 1 1/2 inch. The trap you buy has to match the pipe size coming out of your fixture and the pipe size going into your wall or floor. If there is a mismatch, you need the correct reducing washer or adapter, not a trip to the caulk aisle. Another common fitting mistake is using the wrong type of elbow or connector when redirecting the drain. When you are converting from a floor drain setup to a wall exit for a P-trap, you need a sanitary T, not a standard T. A sanitary T has a gentle sweep that follows the direction of water flow and meets code requirements. A standard T creates a sharp junction that can cause clogs and turbulence, and it will fail an inspection every time. Pay attention to the material as well. If your existing drain pipe is old galvanized steel or cast iron, and you are connecting new PVC, you need a proper rubber coupling with band clamps, often called a Fernco coupling. Do not try to force PVC directly into a metal pipe with tape or adhesive. It will not hold, and the joint will eventually leak sewer gas right into your cabinet. One more thing. When you are assembling slip joint connections on a P-trap, hand tighten the nuts first, and then give them just a quarter turn with the channel lock pliers. Over-tightening is almost as bad as under-tightening. Too much force cracks the plastic or deforms the washers, and you end up right back where you started with a slow drip and a faint smell you cannot quite track down. Take your old trap and fittings with you to the hardware store so you can match sizes exactly. It takes an extra 5 minutes but saves hours of frustration. The fifth and final mistake is leaving the S-trap alone and hoping for the best. And believe me, I get why people do this. You look under the sink, you see that old S-trap, and you think, well, it has worked fine for 30 years, so why mess with it now? I hear some version of that on almost every job. But here's the truth. Just because it has not caused a noticeable problem yet does not mean it is safe. S-traps lose their water seal intermittently. That means sewer gas could be entering your home in small amounts that you have gotten used to over time. Your nose can actually adapt to low levels of hydrogen sulfide, which means you stop smelling it even though it is still there. That is a scary thought. Beyond the health concern, there is the practical side. If you ever plan to sell your home, a home inspector is going to flag every single S-trap in the house. It is one of the most common findings on inspection reports, and it can scare buyers away or become a negotiation point that costs you hundreds or even thousands of dollars at closing. Some homeowners think the S-trap is grandfathered in because it was legal when the house was built. And in a sense, that is true. You are not required by law to rip it out tomorrow, but grandfather does not mean safe. It just means you will not get fined for having it. The moment you do any plumbing work on that fixture, or if your home undergoes a renovation that requires a permit, the inspector will require that S-trap to be brought up to current code. So the question is not really whether to fix it. It is whether you fix it now on your own terms and on your own schedule, or whether you fix it later under pressure during a sale or a remodel, when time and money are tight. I always tell homeowners, deal with it when it is convenient, not when it is urgent. You will spend less, stress less, and sleep better knowing your family is not breathing in sewer gas every night. And now for the bonus tip that professional plumbers swear by. If you have an S-trap and you are not ready to convert it just yet, there's a simple trick that can help protect your water seal in the meantime. After every time you use that sink, let just a small trickle of water run for about 5 to 10 seconds after the main flow stops. What this does is gently refill the trap seal without creating the heavy rush of water that causes the siphon effect. A slow trickle does not have enough force to pull the water out of the curve, so the seal stays intact. Also, if you have any fixture in your home that does not get used regularly, maybe a basement sink or a guest bathroom, make it a habit to run water in every drain at least once a month. A trap can dry out completely in as little as 30 days, especially during winter when your furnace is drying out the air. One small cup of water is all it takes to restore the seal and keep sewer gas where it belongs, in the sewer. It is the easiest plumbing maintenance you will ever do, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my complete guide, the Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It goes way deeper than we can in a single video, with 85 pages covering everything from clearing any clog to replacing your own water heater. If you want to stop wasting money on simple fixes, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.